18 minutes past 1 p.m. I'm Arnold Sagawa. This is NTV at 1. Let's move on as the world continues to grapple with the COVID-19 pandemic. Drastic containment measures imposed to halt the spread of the pandemic have seen businesses rush to reskill laid-off workers, not forgetting a cutback for some very, very dire cases. But in this particularly new space, should we be looking at this as the new normal? I'm joined by Dr. Rogers Barigayomwe, who is a management scientist and the president of the Labour Party here in Uganda, for a deeper conversation on this. Doc, many thanks for making time to speak to us. First of all, is this the new normal? Should we be getting used to this, you know?
Yeah, thank you, Arnold. Yeah, we should get used to it because it was anticipated, and personally, I wrote a thesis about governments and organizations adopting electronic means in order to help in such pandemics. So we should get used to it, and actually it is anticipated that another wave can come. So
one would ask you the question, what are, well, from your thesis, building onto this, because many theses do die in the libraries and no one actually gets to review them, but yours is actually very actionable at this particular time. What would be some of your prescriptions, you know, going forward, comparing a country like Uganda that's developing at a time like this?
Yeah, for organization, I prescribed that right now we should be going into e-meeting, e-payments, e-procurements, e-signatures, because, for example, in this time of pandemic, one office messenger can just contaminate the whole organization, but payments can be done electronic. Procurement can be done electronically. Human resource can be managed, like recruitment can be done electronically. So it is a time when even organizations have a leeway to go back to make sure they adopt electronic means, because anytime soon we might have to go back into the quarantine.
Right, but then my problem would be, this is fixing something at a time when the problem is already here. Take for instance, a few years ago, members of parliament asked for iPads, you know. They got the iPads, and right now when they should maybe be remote sittings of parliament with the iPads that were paid for by taxpayers' money, they're still sitting in a parking lot because they're not addressing some of these things remotely. So you see this lag here that I'm trying to address. Management-wise, how do you address that?
I think one of the problems we have as a nation, we don't prepare. I think that was a procurement thing which people wanted to get money out of, but how now that we know it has come, we have now to prepare, because all organizations should know that even if they are given some time, it might last a short time. So they should just go into adopting electronic means, electronic government, electronic transactions, and having meetings online and doing surveys, customer satisfaction surveys online.
Doc, I don't know if you've had a chance to go through the proposed budget, the 45 trillion one, and see how much is projected to be handed over to ICT vis-a-vis what is to be given to security. What do you say to that mismatch?
Yeah, the mismatch is great, and it's because I think in one of the research, the finding I found is that the elderly age adopt electronic government at a slower pace, or even they resist it. And of course, governance-wise, most of the politicians, you know, are in that older age bracket. So that is likely to affect us as a nation, and also some of those MPs who got the iPads didn't know how to use them. So, and still less money is allocated to ICT because people don't know how vital ICT should be.
Doc, many thanks for making time to speak to us. Doctor, I think I should be addressing you as Doctor because you do have 2 PhDs. Dr. Rogers Barigayomwe joining us. He's a management scientist to just walk us through what the new normal might look like on the management side. Now, let's take a look at some of the stories making headlines across the world.